You are listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Cult of Campbell. I'm Ty.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Ursa.
And this is Cultober, our annual celebration of all things Halloween. And here we are with the third official entry of Cult of Campbell for this Cultober season. And funny thing, so back in July 25th of 2022, Bruce made an announcement on social media that the Ash vs. Evil Dead is getting an animated revival.
What?
That Ash vs. Evil Dead will continue in animated form because they want to finish that story.
Oh,
obviously Bruce is too old to do the Ash thing. That's a big part of why he's doing stuff like the Hallmark films, things like that, is just to let his body
It seems
heal.
like with the Future World thing too, the animation would be a lot less production budget.
Right.
Absolutely. That has since been on hold. He's talked about it. Sam Raimi is just a super busy guy. He's hooked up with Marvel now, so obviously Marvel and Disney consume all, including every ounce of time you have, I imagine, if you're part of one of those franchises.
Oh, yeah. Their claws dug in.
But little did we know, back in the 90s, we got a glimpse of what an Evil Dead animated show could be. In the third season of the 90s animated CGI Canadian television show Reboot. This could possibly be the best example of, wow, these guys are really, really scraping the bottom of the barrel for content. This could be the best example. If anyone will ever come at us, they can easily use this as
cannon
fodder. Yeah, this is what were you thinking? They might say.
That's what I was thinking. I'm watching this and I started looking at the cast list like, wait, what's the connection here? Because we'll get into that, but the first part of this episode, I had no idea what the connection was at all.
I was starting to worry too because I'd never seen this before. I heard about it. I've seen pictures on Google Images like, it's got these references, and I'm watching it and I'm like, looking at the time left on that series, I'm like, on the episode, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be like, is it a bit that they do and that's it?
It's like one throwaway joke.
It's like a throwaway cut scene, and it's like like a Family Guy joke where it's like, what if you like Evil Dead? And that sort of thing. I was like, oh boy, maybe we jump on the shark with this one.
Yeah, jumping the shark. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Nuking the fridge over here.
Hey, but it's Cultober, and we wanted to do Cult of Campbell, so you got to do what you got to do sometimes. We have 4 episodes of Cult of Campbell this month, and only one episode actually has Bruce Campbell on screen. So. Yeah,
praised.
Yeah. Hey, we're doing what we can to keep the Campbellites pleased. Even if it's just little morsels, we'll do what we can to satiate them.
Just little spoonfuls.
This episode is relevant-ish for this show because this episode, it's a kid's show, but it has a pretty nice reference to Evil Dead in it. It's the back half of the show is basically Evil Dead.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a pretty metal kids show.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is pretty edgy for its time.
It wasn't.
Yeah,
90s.
no kidding.
Yeah, 90s, dude.
I didn't watch that. I had never seen this show before.
That's what I was going to say. I remember watching it when I was a kid. I remember the dog scaring me when I was a kid. Did not like the dog in it.
Yeah, he was a pretty scary.
Yeah, that dog freaked me out.
Yeah.
It always freaked me out. And also the female villain, Hexadecimal, she scared the shit out of me.
Oh,
the way she doesn't, her mouth doesn't move. It's like this Uncanny Valley type deal. Which the whole show is like Uncanny Valley, I think.
Oh my gosh.
The whole show is like super weird animation.
She's supposed to be like a jester.
I'm not sure what she's supposed to be.
It looks that way. Yeah, almost like a Harley Quinn sort of deal.
Yeah, she's the sister of Megabyte, who's like the main villain.
Megabyte.
Yeah, I like Megabyte.
He's pretty cool. His voice is really cool too.
Yeah, I like his design too.
No, yeah, great design. Now, Reboot, if you don't know, the show was like it was a very early computer generated TV series, which is pretty wild when you consider, Toy Story came out, was a feature length animated CG movie, and that blew people's mind. Then you have this TV show that comes out, which is a full length television series. And I mean, for what it was, it's pretty impressive for the time for them to even take that on instead of just doing traditional animation.
Oh yeah.
I feel like there were a lot of 90s cartoons like this.
I remember like intros and stuff. That's right. Beast Wars
had this kind of I think it was a little more polished than this, but
it wasn't. I watched Beast Wars very recently. It's also on Tubi.
Okay. Yeah.
I watched it. It's pretty rough. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that one I watched that as a kid religiously, so I could see me getting some rose tinted glasses looking back at that.
This came out in 94.
Oh wow.
And Toy Story came out in 96.
So only 2 years later, they did some work.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, getting that technology upgraded.
It consists of 48 episodes.
Ooh.
It debuted September 10th, 1994, and it ended January 26th, 2022. Looks like it had a pretty skewed release history. It looks like the episodes did not come out very consistently.
Okay.
Which I imagine is a lot of the reason of the technology, probably.
Yeah.
It's probably pretty hard to crank one of these out every week or so.
Was the latest.
That was 8 years. It took 8 years from to do 4 seasons.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was pretty wild. It looks like they had the two main production, first two seasons were done with one production company. They changed production company for the third season, and they changed production companies again for the fourth season.
Okay.
But me and Ty were talking about that before you came on, about the one boob or the uniboob.
Yeah, so Dot
for the first 2 seasons.
Dot, the female character that we're introducing here. I guess the first 2 seasons they were really trying to make this more kid friendly. And instead of breasts, the female characters just had like one, they called it a mono breast.
A mono breast
under their shirt. Breast? That's what the animators called it. Where it was just one single like lump under their shirt, or boobs were implied. But when the production companies changed for the third season, they're like, no, we want real boobs. So they put real boobs and cleavage.
They kind of really,
which I think they do a really good reference that in this one with the character that Dot portrays. When she gets sucked in the show, I think it was like intentional of like. Yeah,
they were making a statement then.
Yeah,
the new production company was. They were like, "Oh no, no."
That was cool too to see the other little references they sprinkled in with this. Obviously Evil Dead is the main one, but there's a couple other nice little horror homages in that little segment.
Yeah, really I thought
this show seemed to be pretty popular. It looks like it had a video game come out. It also had a web comic that came out following the series to kind of wrap up the story.
Oh,
that's why they chose to do that. And even Netflix rebooted Reboot in a couple years ago. It looks like in 2018, Netflix rebooted Reboot into a live action TV series called Reboot: The Guardian Code, where a bunch of high schoolers discover that there's cyberspace within their computer, and Megabyte possesses a human hacker to try to get himself into the real world. So it took place mainly in the real world, I imagine, to save some money.
Right. Yeah. Instead of
did they get canceled, or did they wrap it up in one season?
2 episodes. It's hard. 2 seasons. It's hard to tell with Netflix how they do shit.
Yeah, because they're all over the place.
Yeah, so it looks like it was out 2 seasons and it ended. So
I feel like if a company cancels a series before the story is wrapped up, the fans should get severance and that a YouTube video, anything, just explaining what the fuck happened.
Something.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Or do whatever the fuck Sci-Fi did with the Tremors TV series. I feel like someone should be held and have a day in court for that one.
Oh yeah,
hey, I'm not one to go throw that kind of thing out there, but for this, I will.
That was pretty fucked up.
That was. They cancel the show. They go. Oh, we're canceling the show. Then a week later, they're like, oh, here's the trailer for it. What was that for? Why would you do that?
Wow.
Have you seen that trailer with Kevin Bacon? So Kevin Bacon was going to do a Tremors. It was going to ignore all the sequels. It was a direct sequel to the first movie. And it was going to have Val, where he's still living in perfection. They killed all the graboids, and he wishes for graboids to not. He doesn't wish them into existence, but he's kind of hanging on to that, because that was as horrific as it was. That was his time to shine. Those were his glory days. So he's like, hoping for these things to come back, and then they do. They come back, and he's got to stop them. And they released a trailer, had a badass, what was it, Bon Jovi's Dead or Alive, I think what the soundtrack is. Super cool. A full-length trailer of the series. Kevin Bacon and everything. After they announced they shot and decided to cancel it.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. But they're like, here's what it could have been.
Yeah, here's the trailer of all the, here's what it looked like. But yeah, that was pretty shitty. This did win some awards. It won a Gemini Award, which if I remember correctly, is like Canadian, it's like the Canadian equivalent to the Academy Awards. They won 3 straight years of Outstanding Technical Achievement Award. They won some the 1995 Award of Excellence for Best Animated Program from the Alliance of Children in Television. They also won another Gemini Award nomination for Best Children's Program. So was
that before the 3rd season?
I have no idea.
I'm curious if the sexualization became an issue.
Helped or hurt.
Yeah, I wonder as well. Looks like the season finale of season 4 is a pretty big cliffhanger.
Oh,
that sucks.
Really?
Yes, that was the reason for the comic.
Okay. Yeah. Well, at least leave it to comics. If nobody else is going to pick up the story,
we've seen comics save things before.
Yeah.
So.
They really have, yeah.
But yeah, this is a show from the 90s. It's one of those shows I don't know if maybe we'll remember, but once you see it, it kind of unlocks something because everyone probably saw a bit of it.
Yeah,
I don't remember ever being an avid watcher of it. I don't remember ever it's time for Reboot. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I remembered the woman with the glasses a little bit. It's oh, she looks familiar, and the style, but I don't think I was ever much of wasn't really a viewer.
No. I remember the red and blue henchmen of Megabyte, the red robot and the blue robot. I remember those two things quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is Reboot. Do you guys want to go ahead and let's talk about this episode? Season 3, episode 1, To Mend and Defend. Stay tuned, and we'll tell you why this is relevant for Call to Campbell. Let's get groovy.
Grab your boomstick and fire up the Delta. It's time for ACTION. Join the Cult of Campbell.
Groovy.
And if you're lucky a little later, I'll let you play with my boomstick.
Reboot. Is this your guys' first time watching this? Not this episode, but this show in general. Is this the first time you guys have seen it?
I am 100% sure it's the first time I've seen this.
Yeah, definitely for me too. I wasn't at least a full episode. I don't think I. Yeah, I have no memory of really watching this show.
I can never remember anything about the show than being scared by the hexadecimal and the dog, and that's about it. I remember seeing bits of it. I think maybe on Cartoon Network. Maybe it was on certain points, but that's all I remember is just bits and pieces of it. I couldn't tell you anything about the intro, nothing. I just remember I remember the dog, hexadecimal, and just the art style being just super 90s CGI. Just pre Toy Story attempts.
Yeah, and it definitely is.
and we're coming in here hot. We're coming in episode 1 of season 3. So we're two seasons deep into this.
Right. Yeah.
So I asked there's a lot of stuff that we don't know what happened. I'm sure our audience doesn't know what happened either.
Yeah.
But luckily I asked our co-host ChatGPT.
Oh Jesus. Our co-host.
What happened in the first 2 seasons of Reboot? Bob arrives. Bob is the guardian from the supercomputer. He arrives at the city of Mainframe and becomes the primary protector of the system and its inhabitants.
Oh, okay.
Megabyte and hexadecimal. Bob faces off against the main antagonists, Megabyte and his unpredictable sister, Hexadecimal, who constantly scheme to gain control over Mainframe and its resources. The inhabitants of Mainframe. Bob forms close relationships with the inhabitants of Mainframe, including Enzo Matrix, a young sprite who looks up to Bob, and Dot Matrix, Enzo's sister and owner of a local business.
Oh, right on. Entrepreneur.
What are the other little characters called? Like the little robots?
I want to see if they say it in here. Let me see.
Are those just like citizens?
I think they're sprites. I think they're called sprites too.
They might be called sprites. They were calling the things in the game sprites, weren't they?
Yeah. What the fuck were those?
Maybe they're the same. I don't know. Huh.
Viral threats. They faced many viral threats. Megabyte and Hexadecimal unleashed various viruses and threats upon mainframe, including malicious games that must be won to prevent catastrophic consequences in the system. That's what happens when those cubes come down. Yeah, they basically drop a virus in. Or I guess a game. It's a game block or something like that. I think they call it.
A game
Where do they
block.
come from? They just spawn from nowhere?
Spawn a Megabyte and Hexadecimal make one apparently.
Well, they didn't do a very good job fucking making that one, did they?
No, they did not.
Well, I think it's the idea is they're actually in a game that someone is playing because they talk about the player.
Yeah, they like the user or something.
Yeah, the user.
Yeah.
The Codemaster. And that's the character I want to talk about because I couldn't believe what his name was when I seen it.
Okay.
The Codemaster is a little guy on wheels. Run around. And man, doesn't he look like something. His name is Fong, a wise and enigmatic sprite known as the Codemaster. What a caricature that guy is. He looks like something that Ted Raimi would play in a movie. Fong. I was like, I didn't want to say it, but I was like, man, he looks like they're trying to make him Asian.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
I got Asian mentor.
And it was
vibes.
Fong. Yeah, it was. His name was
even got
Fong.
a little like the little hangy goatee thing.
Yeah, a little hangy goatee with a wheel on it for some reason. I kept noticing a wheel on it. I was like, what is up with that? He is the code master, and he provides guidance and assistance to Bob and his friends through the challenges they face. Bob goes through personal growth, faces emotional challenges, including his role as the Guardian. Enzo comes of age, and Dot's determined to become a protector of the mainframe. And they are surrounded by the Web, a mysterious and dangerous realm beyond the mainframe that possesses a significant threat. Bob and his friends must confront the viral forces that emerge from it. And in season 2, they introduce a new villain named Damon. And he is a villain so powerful and so sadistic that Bob and his allies must align with mainframe and Hexadecimal to defeat him.
I feel like that happens in every 90s cartoon.
Yeah, that's a good go-to for a second season.
Sooner or later, you have to get like Shredder teamed up with the Turtles for a minute. You know what I mean?
Gosh, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
That apparently initiated the virus wars, and Bob sacrificed himself to end the war. Which is where we pick up. Yeah,
it was a deep ass cartoon. I'm gonna have to throw it on, to be honest.
I know, right? And it kind of predicted our own future world, didn't it?
Yeah.
Viral battles online in the mysterious web.
They are called binomes, is what those little guys are called. Binomes are small mechanical people that inhabit most systems.
Cool. Binomes. That's cute.
Binomes,
What a binome is in if it's a reference to something in real life that's technical that I don't know about.
I'm supposed to know computers, but I don't. So that's yeah.
You have working knowledge, practical.
Yeah,
knowledge.
I have work. Yeah, I work within a little dome. I know everything I'm supposed to know, and nothing outside of that. I don't care to know anything outside of that.
You're no theoretical knowledge, computer knowledge person.
No,
working man.
Yep.
You know the parts you need to know.
Exactly. I'll learn it if you tell me I need to learn it.
Right.
But if you don't tell me I need to learn it, I ain't doing it. I don't.
You're working with in the system you have.
Yeah, that if you're wanting me to take that kind of initiative, you need to pay me more for that type of initiative.
I mean, right.
So this episode picks up following the viral wars. Bob has, the web war just ended. The viral wars are just beginning.
Begun. The viral.
So season 2 was the web wars. That's where Bob sacrificed himself.
Yeah.
And the viral wars are just beginning. It talks about the ABCs. The ABCs are armored binome carriers. Okay. So that's the little battleships they had.
Okay.
And there's also CPUs. CPUs are central policing units. So apparently ABCs and CPUs are shooting each other. Yep. Hexadecimal has recharged the hardware. The hardware is a super weapon cannon.
That big old gun that they had.
That's that big gun she's got, the big mass terroristic device, whatever you want to call it, the WMD she's got.
WMD.
And our core characters who we find out are Dot, the female, and Enzo, the little boy. They are shaken. They've obviously lost the guardian of the mainframe, Bob. Which, what a name for your lead. Just a Bob. Like, what does Bob mean? It's I almost guess, based off of what we've seen so far, that Bob is some sort of computer lingo of some kind.
Yeah, or an acronym for something.
An acronym of something. Yeah, I'd imagine.
I don't know.
So they're a loss.
They have a shield up. And
they have a shield that's getting just battered, destroyed. Yeah, they're
about to lose the shield,
and it certainly isn't going to stop fucking Hexadecimal, because this bitch, she's terrifying. Like, that's a scary villain.
Yeah,
the way she talks, the way she emotes, which is like, she doesn't. Her mouth doesn't move when she speaks. It just like emotes a single emotion.
Right. Yeah.
It's like she's either angry, she's happy, she's sad. It's just that emotion, but you hear her voice.
Yeah. Almost like those theater masks that you see. Those iconic theater masks is very much what it looks like, that's a good way to make your villain look unsettling.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she detonates the, what do we call that thing? The hardware.
The hardware.
Yeah, detonates the hardware and blows her ass to bits.
Yeah, because she was going against what's his face, the main bad guy. He was,
Megabyte.
Yeah, he was like, hold off, don't, because he's like, you're going to destroy it. I want to take it over. I want to control it, not kill it.
Right, and she's fucking just psychotic. She wants to destroy everything, and like he tells her like, you'll kill even us, and she's just like, oops, like
it'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun. They also have these things called zip boards, which are the little like things they're flying around on.
Oh, those little things for their feet.
Yeah.
Those little discs, it kind of looks like that they stand on and it flies them around.
Yep. And this, they go into the GameCube, which is what this is called. Those things are called GameCubes. Before Nintendo, Reboot had the original GameCube.
I know, it's so predictive. This episode predicted a lot of things. The GameCube, I had that same thought. It's like, oh my god,
big purple cube. Yeah, it's a big purple cube too.
Big purple cube. Yeah, but it came down out of the sky for some reason. Did they upload? I don't know where the hell that thing.
I imagine they uploaded it somehow. That might not be the right word, but that's a computer term. I'm sure.
Yeah.
They uploaded a GameCube.
Yeah.
And that's what kills kills Hex.
Yeah.
It's all the excess energy coming in, and that destroys her, or so we think, which we find out later. Yeah, it might not be.
That was kind of brutal, like all that like smoke and fire coming out of her eyes and mouth. It felt or light, I don't know, as she's like being destroyed. It's like, oh my god. It was super like crazy. Especially like the way she looks too, with all that energy shooting out of her and shit. It looked fucking terrifying. Little horrifying there. Yeah. It's like, darn it, they really are kind of growing up a little bit on these kids.
It does feel like a lot more of a maybe like teen oriented show or adult oriented show. It doesn't feel like a kid show to me.
Slightly older than, I wouldn't want like a 5-year-old watching this. That'd be kind of scary,
Apparently the GameCubes are just formed when a user starts playing the game.
Okay, so they happen at any time. So at any time, a GameCube. Wow, what a world to live in.
That's wild.
And if you don't get out in time, you're trapped in the game. And if you don't, if the user wins, you fucking die.
Oh, Jesus.
God.
Right.
We've killed so many people.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So that's like, and they kind of do a look at the camera, like at the audience in this episode too.
I know the moment you're talking about.
Listen, this game, you have no fucking right to look at me and try to shame me for playing a video game when you're making this cartoon.
Yeah, they did. There was this just point where they're like, how brutal. Who would play such a violent game? And then they all just look at the camera right at us. I was like, I'm with Ursa. It's like the audacity with those tits hanging out the way they are right now. Yeah. Okay.
Now, apparently the GameCube materializes and Enzo feels the urge to follow the Guardian Protocol, which I guess entails that you must compete in the GameCube. You must defend the mainframe from the GameCube.
So I'm guessing like when you become like a guardian, that your like programming changes or something like that.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it sounds like.
These are all like AI in one way or another. I'm guessing.
Yeah, maybe ChatGPT is in the mainframe.
Ask it if it's in Reboot, the Reboot mainframe.
Yeah, go ahead. Ask it if it's a sprite or a binome in Reboot.
No, it's Bob.
It's Bob. Oh, that's what happened.
Or maybe it's Megabyte.
Oh no.
So they enter the GameCube, and it's Enzo and Dot. They enter this foggy Gothic cemetery with these interesting headstones. They find out they're on the final level of malicious corpses.
Malicious corpses, and they have to find the manual of mortality.
The manual of mortality. And this is a first-person survival horror shooter.
Yep. See, they predicted the Ash game too.
Yeah.
Yep. The Evil Dead games. These guys were prophets.
Yeah, this is like the Simpsons before the Simpsons. They're predicting everything.
So did you guys notice an uptick in the animation quality once they got into this game? I felt like things started, and maybe that's just because it was much more grounded in like an actual aesthetic instead of
and there wasn't like all this crazy shit in the background.
Right. Yeah.
That might have been it.
Maybe that was it.
Maybe the animation was still, I don't know.
Things were a little more focused.
Right.
Frames a second they were animating in or anything, but
it was
pretty rough.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not saying it still wasn't rough, that's for sure, but yeah.
Now they this cemetery has a wooden truss bridge. There's a cabin off in there that they mention.
Yeah.
And a headstone that says, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is a reference to. It says it mentioned it in the fandom wiki. Okay. It says it includes a headstone with the inscription, "Here lies the mainframe joint venture, an unholy alliance." I don't know what that means, but apparently it's a reference.
Interesting. Okay.
And also, Frisket is there. The totally canine looking dog.
Yeah. That terrifying dog. Oh my gosh. He's like super terrifying. Dog.
Yeah. Proportions are so off. It's
huge.
So weird.
Yeah.
And I guess a part of being in the GameCube is they must reboot. What they call it. They reboot into, I guess, the game. Into game characters.
Okay. And that's why they changed
Frisket. Yeah, Frisket becomes a hellhound, which I'm only guessing here. I think.
Oh, I see.
Probably like a reference to maybe like Resident Evil, maybe.
Oh,
would be my guess.
Could be. That's
which would have been around this time.
Yeah.
Enzo, he becomes a red suited zombie.
Yeah.
Where have we seen a red suit? Yeah. Ooh. Where have we seen a little boy in a red Michael Jackson zombie outfit?
That sounds like a thrilling music video.
Yeah. And then Dot, she becomes a very witchy looking gothy lady in a very tight black dress with a dagger and very big hair.
Yep.
Which was weird because it's obviously Elvira.
Yes.
But they play an Addams Family type like piano riff.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, they play it's very like Addams Family-ish. So it's kind of like a twofer.
Yeah.
Elvira and also Morticia.
Yeah. And she's definitely Elvira in the dress. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
I thought it was weird. It stood out to me when she tore her skirt, like to free up her legs. That felt like a reference to something from a movie.
It's Elvira. Elvira has the slit up her dress.
Right, but that actual like tearing
of the dress
skirt. Yeah, I feel like I've seen that in a movie before.
Now you're saying
I feel like back with the scrap from the dress too, didn't she?
Who was it? What is it?
She tied her hair back with the scrap from the dress too, didn't she?
That's true. Yeah, she did. She did tie her hair back.
Yeah, she combed the big hair. Yeah.
But I'm not sure. Yeah, I can't remember what that reminds me of, but it stood out as something. Maybe someone will comment and let me know.
The binomes becomes like a trio of zombies.
Oh, yep.
And they will not take orders. Enzo tries to take charge. Bob's not there. Enzo, obviously being a little kid and looking up to Bob, feels the need to take charge and do so.
Yeah.
And
responsibility now as a new guardian.
Yeah, and the binomes are not having it. They're like, we're not listening. You're not even a guardian. Why would you listen to a little kid?
Yeah.
But guess what? The user has arrived.
Dun, dun, dun.
And this is why we're doing this episode.
Here you have it. We're finally here.
Yeah.
The moment you've all been waiting for.
Suddenly, from the middle of the cemetery, spawns a very handsome, well-jawed man.
Well-jawed.
With a chainsaw in one hand and a shotgun in the other.
Yep. And he says...
groovy.
Groovy.
Ooh, chills. I first thought that was Bruce before we started shooting. Before we started recording.
Thought it was Bruce?
I thought for sure they just paid him to say groovy a couple times.
Right? I mean, why wouldn't you? Just like, hey, man.
Yeah. You're obviously fans of the source material. Why not just like, hey, Bruce Campbell? Because I couldn't imagine he was that expensive back then.
Right.
He was doing Xena. Yeah, he was doing Moontrap and Xena at this time. He's coming hot off Maniac Cop 2. Get him while he's hot. Get him while he's hot. Come on, say groovy. So all this character says.
It was his only line.
He has a line at the end, very end too.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, which is a reference. It's pretty cool.
I didn't get it. You'll have to enlighten me when we get there. Yeah.
I will. So we get there and we find out there's the premise of the game is that the user has to fend off waves of skeletons, followed by zombies, followed by super monsters.
Oh.
All while trying to collect the pages from the Manual of Mortality.
Manual of Mortality.
Yep. And our heroes, I guess.
Yep. Yeah.
They must stop because they got to keep him from winning, or else they die.
Yeah, they're kaput. Yeah.
And a shocking turn while they're trying to keep the user from getting the pages. Did you expect them to fucking kill the dog?
No.
I really didn't think that was going to happen.
What a moment! I was watching. I was like, Jesus Christ! They killed the fucking dog.
Lord.
Fucking Frisket, the dog, tries to keep the user from collecting the last page to win, and he fucking shoots the dog in this 90s kid show.
It's like, oh my God. And he just flops. You see the dog just flop down and lay there. And
you see it stop breathing. You see it like its breath leave it. Like, Jesus Christ, they did it. They killed the fucking dog. I was not expecting that.
No. Not in a kid's show. I wasn't expecting half this stuff in a kid's show.
Yeah. We also get a reference to the evil tree. That's where he finds one of the pages. That was cool.
Yep, that was cool.
Yeah, so we get little things like that, and then we get probably the most, obviously Bruce. The user is a pretty big reference, having a chainsaw hand, a double barrel shotgun, and all. But we get another pretty big reference. All that he needs now is the book. He needs the actual book to win the game. That's all the user needs. Frisk gets dead. Dot tells Enzo the only way to save him is if we win the game. We can get him help if we win the fucking game.
Gotta beat
and they need to hide from the user. And where are they going to hide?
Ooh, where are you going to hide? The cabin.
The cabin. A very faithfully reconstructed animated version of the Evil Dead cabin.
Yeah.
Had the trap door and a deer.
Had the trap door and a deer, which was Scottish for some reason.
Yeah, that's why the deer was Scottish. But it was there. Yep.
Yeah, they go in there. It's got everything in there. I mean, it's pretty spot on.
Yeah. The tape player.
Yeah, they got the tape player in there. It was very cool to see just an animated version of that.
Yeah.
Especially in a kid show. It's really weird. That's the main thing. It's like such a weird reference for a kid show. Because I can't imagine many kids watching it. We're like, holy shit, they're doing
they don't put
Evil Dead 2.
For the kids.
Well, yeah.
It's for the moms and dads that's forced to sit and watch that shit.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s when everybody had one fucking TV.
So the kids are just like, wow, what a cool, creative new setup. Yeah. Like,
man, who's this awesome guy with the chainsaw hand?
Yeah.
I sure wish there was a podcast that chronicled his filmography.
Right. Little did they know.
Little did they know. They were give it a few decades and there would be one. The number one, some might say.
How'd things turn out for you, kids? Let us know.
See, it predicted everything.
Yep, it predicted everything.
We get like 3 or 4 groovies in The show. He chainsaws through a piano and gets all the piano wire wrapped up in his chainsaw, which I was like, why would you say groovy to that? He's saying more of it as a nuisance.
They had to disarm him somehow, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The deer head is in this, which Earth mentioned earlier. It's Scottish for some reason.
Yeah.
They get rid of his chainsaw, his shotgun away from him.
Right.
And it goes into the wall, and the deer says something in Scottish.
Yeah.
Someone's going to lose an eye or something like
Scottish.
that. Yeah. He says something Scottish.
No, and we did have...
I couldn't translate. I couldn't translate. I didn't have the subtitles on.
Yeah. We did get before he loses the shotgun, we did get another Thriller reference. He's using up the kid's the ammo. Yeah. By
he does the dance. He does a lunar strut. He does
a lunar strut. He did do a hoo-hoo, didn't he?
I don't know what you're referencing. He did a hoo-hoo. And Frisket comes in. Frisket returns. He crawls in, throes of death. He crawls in with the last bit of life he has in order to trip the user.
Yep. Goes careening through the air.
Enzo uses the tape from the tape recorder to tie him up, and they toss him into the cellar.
Yep.
We get a swirling cloud. And this the other line I was talking about. He goes down in the cellar. This big swirling cloud comes up, a la Evil Dead 2. Everything starts shaking, and the user pops up, floating above. He's obviously possessed by some sort of deathite or something.
Yeah,
and
the corpse, the malicious corpses.
Yeah, he's got a malicious corpse possessed him.
Right,
and he says, "Undead before dawn."
Undead before dawn. Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, sounds suspiciously like Dead by Dawn.
Oh yeah, which was
Dead by Dawn. Dead by Dawn. Dead by Dawn. That's what.
Oh yeah. What's her name?
Yeah, the
Harriet?
Ted Raimi. Henrietta.
Henrietta.
Yeah, yells from yells from the cellar in Evil Dead 2.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Yep. I did not catch that reference. Nice.
And at the end, all things are resolved. They won. The dog is healed.
Yep.
There are some little plot points, if you care, that we glossed over. Hexadecimal did survive the explosion.
Yep.
They're kind of leading. They have the bottom of her torso. It's all that's left. Her legs are all we see it survived.
Yeah.
And Mainframe alludes to somehow he's going to do something, make her into a guardian or something. Something because because there's a part where they're talking about the kid Enzo. He can never be a guardian. Look at him. He's green. And Mainframe looks at the legs that gives me an idea. So I don't know if maybe they turn
propaganda. I remember that now when he's talking about propaganda.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're planning to do. Maybe turning her into some sort of fake guardian or something.
Clone.
Bob clone. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
I'm invested now.
Yeah. I'm going to read the wiki on the rest of this show. I mean, watch it. I'm totally going to watch it. Available on Tubi for free.
Let's see. Let's see here. So there's some other things to mention. The zombie binomes all have icons on them that turn black and white, and they are made to resemble the Punisher's skull from the Marvel comics.
Neat. Okay.
Again. So here it is. So here lies the Mainframe joint venture, Unholy Alliance. Is a jab toward the ABC network for not renewing Reboot for a third season.
Oh, nice.
I don't get it, but that's cool.
Yeah,
I never got it either. Yeah.
It's a burn at least. I like burns. Burn the studios.
Dot, of course, is modeled after Elvira, although her theme song is a jingle reminiscent of the Addams Family show.
You caught that one. Yeah.
Caught that one. Dot is forced to rip her dress so she can move freely, resembling the American actress Cassandra Peterson, better known for her on-screen role as Elvira. I guess that's why she does it. Yeah, I guess because Elvira does have a slip. Yeah, I know what you're talking about where she rips it.
Yeah,
I know I've seen that in something.
Just seemed like something. I think maybe in one of the Indiana Joneses. I don't know, but
I was thinking I think Alice does that in the first Resident Evil movie.
Oh, okay. That would make more sense.
Yeah,
that would make more sense.
I wonder who did the groovy.
Yeah,
because I'm looking here and I don't see anyone that doesn't have anyone listed.
Yeah.
There is a sheriff biome in this show that has a very a brief cameo. She's like outside of the GameCube, and she talks about how the GameCube, and they're stuck in there with a little boy. He's not even a guardian or whatever. That was apparently a reference to the female sheriff from Fargo, the Coen Brothers film.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, neat. She was sweet.
These are their references to Wolfenstein, Doom, and Quake, which is where the look back at the camera thing, the what kind of sick creature gets enjoyment out of playing this sort of game, was a jab at gamers who were addicted to Wolfenstein, Doom, and Quake.
Okay.
That was.
Where they would just go around killing a bunch of zombie things.
Yeah. Enzo hides the manual mortality between a copy of A Time to Die and The Great Cosmic Mother. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. They should
published by, I don't know what those were.
That he was holding his hand down with or something.
Oh, Farewell to Arms?
That was it. Yeah. Farewell to Arms. That would have been funny.
That's all I see here about the things that have relevance to this show in particular. So that's all I got here. I don't see any. I'd be interested to see who played or who did the single Groovy.
Yeah.
But
I'll bet it was one of the main cast of voice actors. A lot of the times
probably
recycle them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, which one? Who? Was it Fong? Did Fong do it? Or did it say Fong again? Fong.
But there we have it. That was our recap of the events of season 3, episode 1 of Reboot. Surely there's a podcast there where you can get the previous 2 seasons.
Surely there is.
Maybe,
absolutely. Yeah. I am certain.
And maybe you can get the rest of season 3 and 4. Or maybe Urs will do a podcast where he talks about Reboot. He gets so invested.
Since you're invested. Yeah.
Cult of Reboot.
We might. Yeah. Cult of Reboot. We might feel compelled to. Yeah.
And don't anyone worry. We didn't pull any muscles with this reach.
Yeah. There's this might be our Jump the Shark episode.
Oh God. I never thought we'd see this day.
Ben's always saying it's going to eventually devolve to me just reading Campbell's Soup labels. Speaking of Campbell's Soup labels, you can go over to teespring.com, cultshop.net, and get a very snazzy, well-designed Bruce Campbell's soup mug.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
For a low price of $12.99.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll be running a sale around this time. It's the last week of Cultober, so more than likely there's a sale going on, so you can check it out. Go. Link will be in the description.
Yeah.
But yeah, your little plugski. Gotta plug that merch, baby.
Heck yeah. Now that we have it.
Let's go ahead and let's talk about the quality of Campbell in this episode.
Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
Reboot Season 3, Episode 1, To Mend and Defend.
To Mend and Defend.
The third episode of Cult of Campbell as part of this Cultober 3 season. How are we going to do this? I don't know how to do this one.
Yeah, because the question, groovy, not groovy.
Quality of Campbell,
the essence of Campbell was there, I guess you would say.
Essence of Campbell.
Whether or not
essence of Campbell.
We're doing the essence of Campbell. Okay, that's good. Was the essence of Campbell there is what we'll rate it on when we get to that. What did you think this episode, though, Eric? What did you think of your first little taste of Reboot? What did you think?
Oh, okay, you know what? As a show, I'm sorry I missed it as a kid. I think I would have thought this was really cool. I liked the world, and especially then, I really liked, robots and lasers and blasting and, all this sort of stuff. I think because I got really into like Beast Wars as a kid too, which was, that same sort of thing. You're shooting lasers at each other and stuff. So yeah, sorry that I missed it as a kid. Sorry, past Eric. Sucks for you, man. You're not going to appreciate it the same as you would have back then.
Yeah.
So, I liked the world. The world was pretty cool to be in, and provided a good excuse to do. I wonder if they did a bunch of other like references with their games the way that they did them.
I imagine it's probably a big part of that show is probably the references to like pop culture references.
Yeah. So fun show. I mean, I can't say I'd quite go out of my way for it, but like, it's neat. I might,
You're watching if it's on.
Yeah, I might watch it if it's on. That's for sure. Maybe it's something I could check out with my nephews. Never
there
mind.
You go.
Maybe they'd be like, "This is ancient."
What about you?
Use your hands. That's a baby's toy.
What about you, Urs? What'd you think of Reboot?
I think watching it today with 2023 eyes, I wasn't a fan. But I mean, if I could think of it like in 90s term, it might be interesting. I'm definitely interested in the whole plot and all that stuff. It seems pretty deep.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot going on.
More than you'd think. That's for sure. Yeah.
I'll send you a link to the
war over, and then here comes another war.
I'll send you a link to the fandom. Looks like the fandom's pretty in depth.
I'm on the fandom wiki.
Oh, okay, cool.
Nice.
Okay. I think it's a show. Like I said, I never really watched it much as a kid. I don't think I'd revisit the show myself. I think I got what I wanted out of it was this little 10-minute part of the show where they reference something I like. If they have a Jaws episode or maybe a Clerks episode, maybe I'll revisit it, or a Ghostbusters episode. Or hey, if they have an American Pie episode, I can put that in American Pie slices. Give me some.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, or they fuck a virtual pie or something. That might be interesting. But outside of that, I don't know if I'd ever revisit this show, but it's good. I mean, for time period, it's pretty impressive for them to do a whole series in this style, and the technology was so new. It had to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it had to be a lot of work to make it. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I imagine that's why it took 8 years to do 4 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah. And that would still be like, that'd be a pretty packed 8 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot of.
Well, you said they got canceled too at one point, didn't they? ABC didn't pick them back up.
I think it got canceled a couple times. It looks
studios, right?
It looks like the first 2 seasons are one studio, the third season's a studio, and the 4th season's a studio.
So that might have something to do with the distance between two.
The time. Yeah.
Well, good on them to get canceled that many times and have different companies revive them. That's pretty impressive.
Right. That does kind of speak to the value of it at the time, even though, because I'll bet you they were canceling for like monetary reasons. Like, this is so expensive compared to like traditional animation. Yeah.
And for Netflix to randomly redo it in 2018, I mean, that says something to it. I mean,
I wonder what that looks like. Are they true to the aesthetic or?
I watched an episode of it back when it came out. I remember watching an episode of it when it came out because I was aware of the IP, and I think it wasn't when it came out. I think I watched it like the first episode during COVID.
Okay.
Like during the first stint of quarantine,
right?
You're so bored, you're just watching fucking anything.
Yeah,
and I remember watching. Yeah. After you binge Tiger King in the first day of quarantine, and you're like, well, what the fuck do I do with the rest of this 6 months? Wait for Tiger King 2, I guess.
Yeah.
Man, what? God, I don't want to get off a tangent, but what a good time for that show to come out.
Oh, they were lucky as fuck.
It was like the week of quarantine. Like it was like the week quarantine was announced. It was like they dropped that, and it was like COVID, Tiger King. It was like,
and that was all you were hearing about.
Yeah.
It was like a meme show too. It wasn't even like the whole thing was like a big meme.
Yeah, it was such a perfect time for it to come out. It was wild.
Never financially recover from this. It was just.
But back on Reboot.
Yeah,
but I watched an episode of that during COVID, and I remember it wasn't enough for me to watch the second episode. But I remember it being mostly focused on the high school kids, and there's no like Bob. I remember there's no like going into the mainframe. I don't think it was like a generic teen high school hacker show.
Gotcha.
And the kid gets there's a kid who gets possessed by Megabyte, but it isn't like Megabyte from the show. I think it's like his voice comes through the computer and he gets zapped and he's infected by mainframe or some shit like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it seemed like it was very cheap. But I don't know. Maybe later on it gets more into the mainframe. But I feel like if you're doing a show, you need to lead the best foot forward.
Absolutely.
And put people into watching the rest of the series. That didn't do it for me. But let's go talk about the essence of Campbell. Urs, what do you give the essence of Campbell? Do you give it a groovy or a not groovy?
I have to go not groovy. Like that first groovy that came out of the user's mouth, I really thought that they just paid Bruce Campbell some money to say groovy a few times. But then when he didn't say fuck all else the rest of the time, I was like, Jesus, this is so terrible.
I'm going to have to go ahead and agree with you. Picked this episode because we needed something horror related for Cultober. I think it was called a Campbell. I've had this in my back pocket for a second.
Oh boy,
I've had it written down in like the notebook that I had from like the first run of Call to Campbell for a while. It was like
wow,
we'll do it if we need to kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we needed to do it, so we did it. But no, I'm gonna give it a not groovy. It was fun to see like the novelty of wow, there's all these Evil Dead 2 references in a kid show. Like, I think that's just a very unique thing to see. Evil Dead 2 as far from a kid's movie as you can get.
Yep.
And to reference it in a kid show, I think was pretty fun to see. It's neat to see an animated version of Ash when we know that, you know, in the next year or so we could be getting an animated version of Ash, and how fantastic would it be? We're recording this well into the past for those of you listening to it. How fantastic would it be if just this so happened Campbell Fate, something big about that animated show dropped the week this comes out.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Heck yeah, there we go.
Here's the hoping.
Here's hoping.
A lot of people are gonna be, why the fuck did I listen to that episode of that Call to Campbell show? This has nothing to do with the animated show I was thinking of. It'll be happens to me a lot when I watch a movie based solely on the cover art. They'll watch this and be like, the fuck was this? There's no Bruce Campbell in this.
Yeah.
That's why I told Evan that's what I called summer is my my spend $3.99 and immediately regret it on shitty shark movie season. That's what summer is to me.
Yeah,
because I can't help myself. I'll see a movie on like Amazon Prime. It'd be like, you know, sharks of Antarctica or some shit like that. You know, ice sharks, some shit like that. And I'll see it and I'm like, man, that looks terrible. And I'll pass a couple of times like, yeah, it's like $3.99. And then an hour and a half later, I'm like, man, I could have used that for so much more. There's infinite listings. Like, it happens so much. I can already tell we're like I said, recording this in the past. I'm gonna be out $30 when the Meg 2 drops. I know I'm going to go see it at the IMAX and regret it.
Future tie.
Yeah, it won't help. But I went and seen the Black Demon and spent $9, and I was pretty pissed at myself for a couple hours after that. That was a whole adventure though. I had to go to a theater on the outskirts of town. Never been to before. It was a really shady theater. They the woman didn't know what I was asking when I asked for tickets to the Black Demon. She was like, Black Demon. And then she had to look at her thing. It's like, oh, there's a Black. she sold me the ticket. I go into the theater. No one else is there. No one's there the entire time. It was kind of cool. Yeah, Evan was like, I'm not seeing that movie. And I was like, well, it's a shark movie. I have to go see it. And he let me go see that myself. But yeah, it was a weird experience. But hey, there's worse ways to spend $9, I guess, or infinite number of better ways to spend $9.
Right.
But maybe you guys spend an hour listening to us talk about this show from the 90s, and also got a couple little anecdotes. But yeah, I'm gonna give it not groovy. So Eric, that leaves you. The essence of Campbell. I think this is the first time we're ever doing an essence of Campbell.
Yep. Yes, we are. Essence of Campbell. Like, can there be groovy without Campbell? I will say this. Get ready, because ouch, this stretch is going to fucking hurt. But I am secure knowing that this will not get a certified groovy, because that wouldn't be good. But all right. So here's what I'm imagining here, because there were a lot of cool references to Evil Dead and stuff like that. And I imagine that there's at least a handful of kids that saw this show, saw this episode, thought the game in-game setting and stuff was cool, and then later in life saw Evil Dead movies and had like a pang of nostalgia and like, oh, so this is what that was from, and then got into the Evil Dead series because of this show and because of this very hypothetical imaginary scenario. I am going to go ahead and give it a groovy, because it caught like a child-sized bite of Evil Dead and may have inspired some fans for the future.
Well, that's a good way to look at it.
Faint glimmer of hope, I will give it a groovy, knowing that it will not be a certified groovy.
Yep. No certified groovy. No certified groovy.
There we go. I'll throw it.
So, Reboot Season 3, Episode 1, To Man Defend, not groovy. By majority rule. Not groovy.
Yep. Not groovy.
Eric with the plot twist as usual. You're always one to throw the curveball at the end. You're always one to do that. But luckily, it didn't take this in the groovy territory.
No,
we still got non-groovy out of it.
I wouldn't have done this if you guys were like, "Oh yeah, it's groovy." I'd be like, "No, no,
can't let it happen. Can't sully. We've already sullied the main part of the show. We can't sully that certified groovy rating.
Right.
We have to maintain our dignity somewhere.
Somehow. That's where's the line?
We've got to protect that seal. And we did. You did, Eric. Way to go.
We did it.
But yeah, that was a reboot. We're almost through Cultober. Can you believe it?
Wow.
It's been one for the books.
Ooh, a labor of love.
Sure. The biggest Cultober we've ever done.
Yes.
It was pretty daunting when we made the list of everything we were doing, and I got to tell you, this season was definitely a lot more work than I think any of us thought for the amount of content we put out. And hopefully everyone here enjoys it and appreciates it, because we had everyone from Eric working on things, Bailey working on stuff, Mike working on things, Essie pulling a little bit extra duty. Yep. I mean, this was all hands on deck to make this happen. And we're coming. This is our last full week, and then we got 3 episodes next week. And man, it's almost done. Tomorrow you can catch me on Cult Talk Conspiracy, which is doing an episode every Tuesday through October to celebrate Cultober. You can catch on Wednesday Urs. You can hear him back on From Dusk Till Dawn. Where he's joined with Mike and Bailey. That'll be a fun one. Friday night, The Crow is coming out.
Ooh, The Crow.
The Crow. One of my favorites. One of my favorite films.
Good movie.
This Sunday, you have a movie we all fell in love with last year. Mike made it happen last year. The Halloween Tree. We are doing the Halloween Tree book review. The first book review for Cultober, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
we did comic. We did a graphic novel last year for Cult of Campbell.
That was for Cultober.
Yeah, but we're doing an actual novel.
Yeah,
or novella. So that'll be fun. And next Monday, right here on Cult of Campbell, one I'm excited about. When we've been putting this off for a while. Finally going to do it. We promised people we'd do it a while back, and unfortunately things fell through. We are doing Evil Dead Rise.
Ooh.
So that'll be fun. And this all leads up to, of course, the big Cult Talk Net Halloween special, Addams Family. Classic film. We got a little Addams Family reference in this one, so that's good.
There we go. A little sneak
little tease.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Reboot, not groovy. If you want to see what Evil Dead could look like animated, check it out. But there's not much meat on the bone, as they say.
Right. But I would play that game. That game as it was in there. I'd do that. I think that'd be
play
cool.
the Evil Dead game. I think it's like the same basic concept of the Evil Dead game.
Honestly,
is collecting the book pages.
We'll have to talk to the writer of this show. I need lottery numbers. This guy was predicting a lot of shit.
Picture the GameCube. Who would have thought?
Right? Yeah.
Make sure you guys follow us at Cult Talk Net across everything: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all the stuff. We have merch. You can find a link below if you want to pick yourself up a Cult of Campbell t-shirt or that Bruce Campbell soup mug. I'm pretty proud of. Check it out. It's pretty cheap. I'm sure we'll run to sell. I don't want to say it. If we are, you'll know. It'll be in the banner above the shop.
There you go.
Make sure you guys check out Cult Talk Conspiracy every other Tuesday, but every Tuesday this month. Whether or not it's every other Tuesday, or Bailey and I talk about conspiracies and cryptids and all sorts of high strangeness and good stuff. Check out Cult of Lore every first and third Thursday with Eric, Ben, and Jerry.
Yeah. Eric, Ben, and Jerry. And
talking about Warhammer and in-depth lore stuff of all kinds of things.
So, and we've got visual elements in there too. So,
make sure you check out youtube.com/culttalknet, because Eric works very hard on making full-length video episode. But that does it for us here at Cult of Campbell. We're almost done with Cultober. We thank you for joining us. Thank you for sticking. If you're with us this long, thank you. If you stuck through this episode with us, you're a real one. You're a real one. Go ahead and drop a
you got certified.
Go ahead and drop a super groovy in the comments below.
Heck yeah.
Let us know. Let us know you stuck through the end, because what a trooper. We jumped the shark on this one, but you got to do it for the content. That's what you got to do it for the content sometimes.
Yeah.
But until next time, I've been Ty.
I've been Eric.
And I've been Ursa.
Stay groovy.
Groovy.
Hail to the king, baby. That's it? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.